Well, hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTube universe. I want to thank you for taking some time to watch this video, and I hope you're having a great day. I'm having a pretty good day myself, so I wanted to make this video. I got this idea from a good friend of mine that I've met recently on YouTube and in real life. He goes by the name Micah, and his channel on YouTube is Vicious Fiction 101. And so we were talking, and I was watching a movie with my kids, and we talked about how movies have a different meaning to us now that we have come out of the powers of the witchtower. So we kind of see things differently now. And we are a unique kind of people, those who have left the witchtower. We're not like anyone else. And it takes time to be a normal person. We've been trained to be something different, something special, a special possession of people that's only God is interested in and will save. And so, you know, songs mean something different to us. Movies do. And so this is the first movie, or the first video that I'm going to make about movies that mean something different to me. And this movie is, drum roll please, dun, 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 the Lego Movie. Now, if you're a parent, I know you've probably watched this movie. I'm a parent, a proud parent. I got a 7-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter, and I love my kids more than anything. And I love spending time with them. And one of our best things to do is to watch the Lego Movie. We love watching that movie. So if you don't have any kids or grandkids and you haven't watched this, this movie, it was designed for children, but it's a great movie for adults also. This movie, if it would have came out when I was a kid, I would have watched it a million times. It's a pretty good movie. I like animated movies because I watch them with my kids a lot, and so I like this one. And the movie comes from the vantage point of a little boy playing with his father's forbidden Lego cities in the basement of their house. Now, his father is a Lego collector who's building these Lego cities and plans on supergluing these cities permanently, but the son so desperately wants to play with his father's Legos. So while his father's away, probably working, the son sneaks down into the basement and begins playing with these Legos using his imagination, and that's where the movie comes in. This movie does incorporate a lot of pop culture, but it comes from a child's viewpoint, and sometimes, you know, kids do things that make you laugh, and this movie does the same thing. And so that's why I like it, and I think it's appealing and funny to adults also. So we're going to go and talk about this movie, kind of scene by scenes, and we'll discuss things that I think really mean something to me as an ex-Jehovah's Witness. So the movie begins with a Lego named Vitruvius, and he's protecting this precious relic called the Craggle, which is basically a tube of crazy glue with the letters rubbed off that it looks like the word Craggle instead of crazy glue. And so he's protecting this relic from the bad guy of the movie called President Business. And somewhere in the movie it changes to Lord Business, but I forget where. And so Vitruvius is wounded protecting this relic, the piece of resistance, or he's protecting the Craggle, and he ends up becoming blind. And so before President Business discards him for good, he reveals of a prophecy. And that prophecy is, one day, a talented lass or fellow, a special one with the face of yellow, will make the piece of resistance found from its hiding refuge, and with a noble army at the helm, this master builder will thwart the craggle and save the realm, and be the greatest, most interesting, most important person of all times. And of course, all of this is true because it rhymes. And so Emmett is the main character. Now he's an everyday, ordinary construction Lego. He lives in an ordinary Lego city, and everything is in order. And of course, everything is awesome. And so that's the main theme of that movie. Everything is awesome. Anyways, so all the Legos, they fall in line. They're all rank and file. And the instructions are followed to the letter. Emmett stumbles upon the love of his life, this mystery woman called Wild Styles. And she's looking for a relic called the Piece of Resistance, which would destroy the Craggle. So Emmett stumbles his way by accidents upon this relic that Wild Styles is looking at. Unfortunately, he loses his instructions on what to do in that type of situation, and since it's something forbidden, he just has to touch it. And the piece of resistance permanently attaches itself to Emmett on his back, and so he blacks out. And when he wakes up, he's in a room being investigated by another Lego called Good Cop, Bad Cop. Now the Good Cop, Bad Cop is a Lego with a rotating, alternating face. One face is a bad cop with his shades, his cop shades, and his mean look, and the good cop is the Mr. Nice Guy and with his smiling face. And so the good cop lures in the victims, and then the bad cop carries out his boss's wishes, which is President Business. So does that sound familiar? Maybe some religious group that you've met puts on a good cop, bad cop face to lure you in and carry out their desires of their boss, their evil boss. That might sound familiar. It did to me. And so Good Cop, Bad Cop is interrogating Emmett about the prophecy and him being the special. And so Good Cop, Bad Cop reveals to Emmett what all of his friends said about him. How he's basically, he has no character. He's a nobody. He fits in with everyone else so good that no one notices him and no one pays attention. And so Good Cop, Bad Cop says that this is a perfect cover-up to being the special. And so I kind of related to Emmett as a rank and file Jehovah's Witness. You just sometimes you just fail to fit in and no one notices you. And that happens to us sometimes in that religion, and that carries over as we move on from that. But since Emmett has no idea about the prophecy, Good Cop, Bad Cop lies to Emmett and plans on melting the piece of resistance off of Emmett. But at the last minute, Wild Styles comes to his rescue from the evil clutches of Good Cop, Bad Cop and his henchmen, the robots. Wild Style tells Emmett that he is the special, the one who would be the greatest, most interesting, most important person of all times that would save the universe. Now, since Emmett really doesn't believe in himself, he doesn't have a lot of self-confidence, but he wants to be that person so bad. But Emmett falls for Wild Style so much that every time he hears her voice, all I can do is just daydream when she speaks. And I was thinking, maybe you've met someone before that their voice just kind of hypnotizes you. And that's how Emmett was with this Wild Styles. And so they make their miraculous escape, and Wild Style finds out that Emmett, he's not the special. He's just a rank and file construction worker. He's not even a master builder. And so he certainly isn't the special. And this breaks her heart. So they rendezvous with the now blind Vitruvius, who's living in an old western Lego city. Now Wild Styles reveals to Vitruvius that she found the special, and Vitruvius immediately believes that it's Wild Styles, but she breaks the news to him that the special was Emmett, this regular Lego construction worker who's not even a master builder and who has nothing but horrible original ideas, like his double-decker sofa. And that's because all his life Emmett had to follow the instructions, and he did, and he didn't mind. He did that happily. He was a happy person following the instructions, and so he didn't have time to think independently, to be a master builder. So are you still following instructions? Or are you a master builder? Do you think for yourself? Do you do your own research? Are you an independent thinker? Or are you still trapped by the instructions of the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society? Vitruvius convinces Emmett that all he needs to do to be the special is to just believe, and then he'll be able to see everything. And so he asked Emmett, "Are you ready, my son?" And so Emmett says confidently, he says, "Yes, I am, I think." And that just reminded me how that religion kind of destroys our self-confidence. But we need to work on rebuilding that, because we're special in our own way, and we need to be confident in ourselves and our abilities, because we were always good enough. It was the Watchtower that wasn't good enough for us. So the good cop, bad cop catches up with the trio and pursues them on a wild chase through the Old West Lego City. And as they are falling to their eventual death, Emmett and Wild Styles have a moment just before her boyfriend shows up and rescues them. And who happens to be her boyfriend? None other than Batman, Lego Batman. And so they end up escaping to another Lego world called Cloud Cuckoo Land. And they meet up with Princess Unikitty. Now, Princess Unikitty, she suppresses all negativity, where she pushes these things deep down inside where you'll never, ever, ever find them. Have you done that? I think I have. I pushed a lot of negative things in my life back into the recesses of my brain because I didn't want to deal with them. But we have to deal with those things. We can't just let them stay in the back of our head, because it's going to mess with us. When we take things on head on and deal with them as they are, then we won't have any fears left, and we'll be able to truly move on from the Watchtower. So in this Cloud Cuckoo Land, all the heroes and master builders assemble to meet the special, the one they've been waiting for. So Vitruvius reveals that their Armageddon will be called Taco Tuesday, where President Business plans on destroying the universe. And so when they learn that Emmett is just a regular old rank and file Lego, He's not the creative type, and he's generally unskilled. Well, they get all dejected and begin leaving one by one. But unbeknownst to Emmett, good cop, bad cop planted a tracking device on him and finds him in this secret world. So good cop, bad cop and his evil henchmen robots, they capture all the heroes and all the master builders. But because Vitruvius tells Emmett that he must embrace what is special about himself, a few heroes and master builders survive this destruction of Cloud Cuckoo Land. And how do they survive it? It's by means of Emmett's double-decker sofa, which was called Dumb. And so during this moment, the suppressed Unikitty, Princess Unikitty, she almost loses her positivity to the negative emotions that's buried deep inside of her. So remember, we got to deal with those things and deal with them head on. Take them on, and we need to beat them. We can beat that negativity. And so the heroes and the master builders are taken to President Business think tank, and they're held as prisoners who come up with all the necessary instructions in the Lego universe. So President Business is upset that good cop, bad cop failed to get the piece of resistance from Emmett. So Emmett and his gang are saved by a robot pirate. And since Emmett's dumb and bad idea that no one would ever think would possibly be useful, since that saved their lives, they start putting trust in Emmett as the special. And so he begins to believe in himself for the first time in his life. And he creates a master plan to save the universe with markers, construction paper, and glitter glue. So during their preparations to infiltrate President Business's lair, we see that Batman doesn't really care about Wildstyle's feelings. And that just kind of made me think about my own relationship. When you have a mate that's stuck inside and you so desperately want to get them out, sometimes it seems like they don't care about your feelings. But that's tough. They think they're trying to do what's right, but really it's unloving. And it's not right. So we got to deal with that in our own ways. Of course, Emmett and Wildstyles are about to have another moment, and guess who shows up? Yeah, Batman. He always shows up at these awkward moments. So as their plan is coming together that Emmett created, and they're infiltrating Lord's Business evil lair, everything is about to come to fruition. And during this time, it's funny because Wildstyles, she just hates being a rank and file. She can't stand it. And in order to accomplish this plan, she has to sing the worst song ever. Everything is awesome. And so that was pretty funny to me. So of course, Emmett and Wildstyles have yet another moment. And so she reveals her true self, her real name, Lucy. And I was thinking that as Jehovah's Witnesses, we may not have been our true self. We may have been someone that was a fake. And that's not surprising, since that religion is all fake, that we become fake persons. And I think I really wasn't myself in that religion. And so we have to discover ourselves, who we really are. And more importantly, we need to love ourselves. If you still consider yourself a Christian or have religious faith, you know, the Bible says that you must love your neighbor as yourself. How can you really love someone if you really don't love yourself? And if you really don't know yourself, your true self? So find that person. So of course, as they have this moments, Batman shows up at the most awkward moments during the movie, and so Lucy, or Wild Styles, and Emmett separate. They part ways, and they say for the last time, "See you later, alligator," after Wild Crocodile. And I like that. I hate saying goodbye, and so I'm gonna start using that a little bit more instead of saying goodbye. See you later, alligator. It's kind of kiddish, but I like it. And so everything's going perfect. Everything is just going to plan. But at the last moment, Lord Business gets the upper hand and foils their master plan. So Lord Business congratulates Good Cop, Bad Cop with his success of stopping their plan with a belated, acceptable work. Good Cop, Bad Cop. Vitruvius is mortally wounded and reveals to Emmett that the prophecy was not true. Maybe you can relate to that. How everything was fake and not true. And so, of course, Emmett is devastated because he wasn't the special. For the first time in his life, he started believing in himself. And then he comes to realize that he wasn't that person. He was never meant to be that person. And so as Vitruvius was about to reveal information that would change the course of history, he dies. Lord Business throws the piece of resistance into the never-ending abyss of nothing. He releases the Craggle and sets the electric shocker to terminate everyone in 100 Mississippi. And I thought that was so funny because I remember being a kid and trying to play football, and we would count to 3 Mississippi and then say hut. And so you know, they say things a kid would say and things you probably said when you were a kid, counting to 100 Mississippi, maybe when you were playing hide and seek or something. And so everyone else is unsuspecting and expecting a wonderful Taco Tuesday, all the other Legos in the universe. So Lord Business begins freezing everything and everyone with his micromanagers. In the meantime, the ghost of Vitruvius appears to Emmett and tells him that he didn't let him finish because he died. Vitruvius reveals that anyone could have been the special as long as they believed, because it sounds like a cat poster. And if you watch the movie, you know what that means. So Vitruvius floats away, and Emmett sacrifices himself by falling off of the building with a 9-volt battery into the never-ending abyss of nothing. He tells Wild Styles one last time, "See you later, alligator," and he falls. And he saves their destruction just as the timer hits 0 Mississippi. So Emmett is gone. He's dead. In the meantime, all the heroes and master builders are freed and try one last ditch to save the universe. Wild Styles, she gets on TV and tells everyone that they can trust her because she's on TV. And so she tells everyone that they could resist President Business' plans by forming a rebellion. And this day for them would become Freedom Friday, but on a Tuesday. And so Good Cop, Bad Cop trades sides and helps the heroes and master builders. But it's all for nothing, of course. President Business with his micromanager robots, they get the upper hand and capture all the heroes again. Emmett now has visions of the real world and the boy that's playing with him. He even ends up seeing the man upstairs, the boy's father. he catches his son playing with his Lego city. His son who accidentally, expertly, carefully took the entire top off of a skyscraper. The boy wants to play with the Lego so bad, but the father wants order and to permanently glue everything together. So back to the Lego city, the micromanagers capture everyone and put an end to the rebellion. And so at this time, Emmett comes back from the dead, from the real world, and back into the Lego city as a master builder. And he almost saves the universe once more, but again comes up just short. Emmett pleads with President Business, showing him the real spirit of what Legos are. The boy has a moment with his father and explains what he has been playing the whole time during the day. And Emmett tells President Business that he is the special. And so was Emmett. And so was everyone else. Yeah, the prophecy was made up, but it still is about everyone else. Emmett says that President Business could change everything. So, of course, the father and the President Business, they both have a change of hearts. The piece of resistance was finally snapped onto the Craggle, and the movie ends with Batman letting Wild Styles go and says that Emmett is the hero she deserves. And so Emmett and Lucy finally have their moment and touch their Lego claw hands together. And that's how the movie ends. And so I've seen that movie, at least 10 times with my kids. I love watching it with them, and that has a lot of symbolism. You know, the prophecy not being true, and suppressing our feelings, and good cop, bad cops. You know, people that have one face at one moment and then in an instant can put on a different face. And you know, that has a lot of symbolism that struck with me. So I enjoyed watching that movie. I'm sorry if I forgot to announce in the beginning. If you haven't watched the movie and you want to, then please watch it first, but I forgot to say that. So if I spoiled it for you, I'm sorry. It's a good movie. The first time I watched it with my kids was in 3D, and it was friggin' awesome. The graphics are just unbelievable, and it's got a lot of humor that adults can laugh to. It's a good, clean, fun family movie, and those are hard to come by. And so even if you don't have kids or grandkids or whatever, you know, maybe you can watch it secretly and see what you think about it. So this is the first video in this series of where I will be examining how movies, you know, movies just kind of take on a different meaning now that we have left the Watchtower and have woke up to the truth about the truth. So please, I encourage you to write your comments, and I look forward to making some more videos, and I hope you enjoy the other movies that I think kind of struck a chord with me. And if you got any suggestions, let me know. Make your comments for suggestions, and I'll watch the movies and make some comments about them. But that's what I'm going to start doing, is my reviews of some movies. Thank you for your time, your last 29 minutes. God bless.